the American diet right in front of you, the standard American diet, where people are eating 2% of their calories from vegetables. The most powerful anti-cancer food in the world, longevity-affecting food, are vegetables, and the American diet only eats American people only eat 2% of vegetables in their diet. If we plot the amount of unrefined plant food, this is all about eating more unrefined plant food. And if we look at data from the 1960s, we can go back and see countries that ate a lot of unrefined plant foods. And if we look at those countries that ate the most unrefined plant foods, we can see as those foods increased in the diet, those diseases of nutritional stupidity, like heart attacks and cancers and strokes, go down to nothing. It's a direct inverse correlation. More unrefined plants, less disease. Quite simple to remember. This is irrefutable. The amount of scientific evidence that from the scientific literature and from historical evidence and also from epidemiologic studies with large numbers of people going on for decades, we find that, of course, that we know that fruits and vegetables and beans and nuts and seeds extend lifespan and are good for us. And you take any one of those foods out of the diet, you remove nuts and seeds from the diet, people don't live as long. You take beans out, they don't live as long. You take fruit out, they don't live as long. You take, in other words, as you remove, we know that vegetables are the most powerful foods against cancer, but we also know that a diet that includes vegetables and fruit has better effects at protecting against cancer than just the vegetables alone. It's the synergy of all these foods together, having a wide variety of plants. And right now we have an unprecedented opportunity in human history to be able to have a wide variety of clean, organic plant foods in our diet that we never could achieve in human history. What I'm saying right now, the portfolio of foods available in our nutritarian diet are much broader and more protective than what's available and was available in the blue zones. The blue zones are not representative of the healthiest diets available. They're just lucky to have a better diet than the average American diet based on what's locally available to them. They're not based on science. They're based on what's locally available and customs and the way people have eaten for a long time. And they're much better than the way Americans eat. And they afford people the opportunity to live approximately 10 years longer than the average American. But a nutritarian diet doesn't attempt to replicate that. This is much better than a blue zone. We're taking the best of all the blue zones, using science to design a dietary portfolio that maximizes human longevity and blows out the results of a blue zone out of the water and have people live to be 95 to 105. Not just 8 years longer, but 20 years longer. There's no controversies here. It's essentially right now well established with a huge amount of science that excessive amounts of animal products, as animal products go up in a diet, so does disease risk from the common causes of death. And as refined carbohydrates go up, the high glycemic carbohydrates, so does the same causes of death. And we can argue which is more dangerous, but it's an irrelevant point because they're both dangerous. And even moderate amounts of white rice and honey and maple syrup and white bread, even moderate amounts increase disease. Even 2 servings a week of commercial baked goods are associated with increased risk, 50% increased risk of depression. Even 1 serving a week of French fries is associated with a 26% increased risk of later life breast cancer. Even moderate amount of these foods. So people advocating this plant-based whole food movement, but suggesting that we should just do it partially, it's not really giving people what they need to know. Because if you really want protection, especially because many of us haven't eaten healthy the first half of our lives, you can't just do this moderately. You have to do it all the way, because then the magic happens. And that's what this lecture is about. It's about doing it all the way and seeing the magic that happens.